Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lynn at Cheese and Yogurt Making, and we continue our journey of meeting with cheesemakers from around England. And today I'm delighted to be chatting with Iona from Fen Farm Dairy in the beautiful county of Suffolk. Hi, how are you?
Hello, yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm so excited to chat with you. Your website is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
I couldn't get past the video.
Yes, good.
Johnny on the farm. I mean, well, where's the next episode? It's so,
Yeah.
I mean, that was before I even launched into looking about what you guys are all about, apart from even the cheeses. The video was just mesmerizing. I mean, it was just, you could just watch it. So, yeah, I mean, tell me a little bit about Johnny and the background and the videos, and are there going to be more, because they're very interesting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so Johnny is a third generation quick mortar farm here at Fen Farm Dairy. And he started to make cheese about 10 years ago, just shy of 10 years. And along that process, before he decided to make cheese, they were sort of conventional dairy farmers selling milk to Arla and the supermarkets and things, but the milk price was so unstable and here, there and everywhere that they decided to start looking into how else they could perhaps use the land or the cows, or just looking at ideas really. And he went to a local chicken farmer. His free range eggs were sort of in their peak and everyone was raving about them, so he thought perhaps chickens would be a good route to go down. So eventually said chicken farmer, and they had a little garden shed at the end of their drive, selling half a dozen eggs at the end of the drive with an honesty box. And Johnny and Dulcie were absolutely mesmerized with how many people came to literally the garden shed and brought the eggs straight from the farm. And Johnny was like, why do people come to your farm rather than buy eggs in the supermarket with the rest of their shopping? What's the advantage? And it became very clear that people loved buying the stuff straight from the farm, the eggs straight from the farm, being able to see the chickens, being able to see exactly where they came from. So a week later, Johnny bought a garden shed, painted it like a cow, and started to put milk in there. So I think the first day he put sort of 31 litre bottles in the shed, and the next morning he had 30 pounds in the pot. So that margin is a lot nicer than what he was being paid for it to go in bulk. But obviously, we create a lot more than 30 litres of milk a day. So scaling it up over the next few weeks, before we know it, Johnny was bottling hundreds of litres of milk a day, and that became very labour intensive. So actually, it started to raise the thought maybe the milk is more valuable than we think it might be. So obviously with milk comes cheese. So cheese was the next sort of discussion point. And talking to the likes of Neil Jar Dairy, who pride themselves on, doing British cheeses and really high quality cheeses. And they said, Johnny went to see them and said, if we are to make a cheese, what is the market missing? And they said a brie de meaux, a brie style cheese made in Britain, in England, would be incredible. So that was the next step, and they got lots and lots of advice from different cheesemakers and all about the cultures and what to use and what not to use. And it also became quite clear that our cows that we had at the time possibly weren't quite the right cows for making cheese, especially a brie style cheese. So we needed to get a hold of some Montbéliards, which have a much more higher fat protein type of milk. So it's really important for that gooey, creamy cheese that we make to have a really high fat content. So although we sacrificed the yield ever so slightly, the fats in the milk were much higher, creating a much tastier cheese. So yeah, like I said, I think it was about 11 years ago, they actually bought 72 Montbéliards from France and brought them to Suffolk and started making cheese. And they sort of scaled up over the last few years and just gone on and on and on, really. So yeah, now we make Baron Bigod 4 times a week, and then we also make Bungy butter, which came slightly afterwards. and skyr yogurt and cultured cream. So yeah, so now we're using pretty much the majority of our milk. But then we also, we're looking to use all of it as our sort of goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a wonderful story. And
yeah, it's a good story, isn't it?
It is amazing. Is he still, so obviously it looks like you've got a really big team there. Is he still very much on the farm? You obviously got a lot of space for the cows, and is he still very much farming and involved?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He is still really, really involved 7 days a week in every single part of the business.
Right.
You know, he loves, I think he would happily say he would rather be out in the field with the cows than in the office doing invoices and things, but you know, he still does all of it. Yeah, and is still very much hands-on.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a brilliant story, and I hope that we're going to get a next installment of the video.
Definitely, there'll be more to come.
I can't wait. I'm going to be following that. The website is incredible. I just, because there's so much, it's one of the best websites I've seen. It's just, there's so much to it, and the story and what you believe in and the way you farm. It's just inspires, I think. Absolutely love it. There's lots of you there. Obviously it's grown and grown and grown, and your social media, there's so many followers. I think, you know, you've just obviously
we're very lucky. We've got a fantastic following of very loyal customers that have, some of them have, you know, been buying Baron for a really long time now. So yeah, we wouldn't be where we are without them. No,
it's amazing. Obviously the cheese itself, so tell me a little bit more about the cheese and the awards. You've won awards, I can see that on there. And is it just that one cheese that you do?
Yeah, so we just make Baron by God, which is a pasteurized cow's milk brie style cheese, with a, you know, a bloomy rind. We make it in a 250-gram size, a 1 kilogram size, and a 3 kilogram size, all of which sort of serve a purpose in terms of places in the market. So 250 grams are really good for, you know, direct sales, so via the website, our subscription boxes and things like that. The 1 kilograms are really great for restaurants, pubs who want to put on a cheese board. And then the 3 kilograms are fantastic for delis, counters, and where they cut and serve the cheese there and then. So they all have a place in the market. We do make a truffled Baron by God, which is basically when the cheese is mature, we cut it in half like a cake, and then we mix our cultured cream with truffle, and then layer it across the middle, and then sandwich it back together. So that's sort of a adaptation of Baron, but yeah, so we make Baron as our only cheese.
Yep, that sounds delicious. And there's a mystery box and things, gifts, all of that on there. I can see all that on there.
Yeah, we try and, so we have a subscription box that we work really closely with other British Isle cheeses.
Okay.
And it changes every quarter. So we choose 4 different cheeses every quarter, and then you get a Baron every time plus those 4. So yeah, we just try and share the love of British cheeses, really.
And I can see there's a little map with all the stockists on as well. So you can just sort of zoom in and see. There's a lot, isn't there? But you've got quite a lot there, haven't you?
Exactly. Yeah, we try and have all of them on there, but it's pretty difficult to make sure they're all on there. But yes, there is plenty of places so you can get hold of Baron. A lot sort of in East Anglia, obviously that's our home, so that's where I expect most of Baron is sold. But also all over the UK. And now in America as well, which is very exciting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we sent our first shipment to America in February.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, super exciting.
So see where that could go.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully a long, long way.
I hope so. I should keep my eye on that. You've got, and obviously the yogurt.
Yeah.
Things like that. And presumably that's just as popular. It looks delicious.
Yeah, so the skyr we started making about 3 years ago, and that's just part of our bigger vision of to use everything that we produce on the farm, using, you know, we don't want to waste anything. So when we make our butter, we take all the butter fats out of the milk, and we're left with a very, very skimmed milk. And we just all start to think, what else can we do with this milk? You know, it's got to have some use. So we pasteurize the milk, add cultures, and then it's skyr yogurt. So then it rests in a muslin for, I think it's about 6 or 7 hours. Rest in a muslin to let all the excess whey and moisture come out, and then you're left with a really delicious, very high in protein, low in fat, creamy yogurt. And then we make a natural one, but we also have 3 other flavors which are made with Skye preserves, English preserves, sorry, which are a natural jam where they don't add any extra sugar. So obviously we've made a really low fat yogurt. We didn't want to then pump it full of sugar.
No.
So yeah,
that's wonderful. So
yeah, the skyr is really delicious, to be fair.
Okay, I might have to try some of that, I must say.
Definitely.
So Nick, I can see there's a festival coming up. I noticed on your Instagram page today. What's that all about? You're sponsoring something, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. So it's Albury Food and Drink Festival. Happens every August.
Okay.
And yeah, so Johnny's been on the board for a long time, sort of organising it and helping with the setup. But this year we are sponsoring it, which will be very exciting. And it's a huge foodie drink festival that goes on for 2 days, and it's held at Snape Maltings, which is very near to Albury, in Suffolk. So yeah, it's a really sort of buzzy, fun weekend that we try and get really, really involved in.
Wow. And when is that held?
I think it's definitely later on in August.
Right.
I'm not sure on the exact dates.
No, so coming up in a couple of months. So yeah. I think you putting it on there now in May will give everybody the heads up, because it's kind of the worst thing is sometimes you see a post where, oh, we're here today, like, I can't get there today. But if you told me a few weeks ago, or even better, a few months ago, you can pencil it in the diary. So we should keep our eye on that. Because that looks really
it is really cool.
Is it? What goes on? What is it? Just a whole 2 days?
Loads of sort of amazing local producers. There's chefs that do sort of live
fantastic
cooking and things. It really is cool, actually. And there's one of the companies that hires a huge Great London bus, and there's cocktails that come out of there, and it's just really fun, really fun.
This could be a good reason to have a little weekend away.
Definitely.
I think.
Well, that's probably why Dalton started to market it, talk about getting people to Suffolk, because it's a fab reason.
It is a fab reason, and it's a beautiful county. It's, as I say, people have got to look at the website because it is absolutely incredible. I really love it. The video, we're looking out for more. Obviously, find you on Facebook and Instagram, of course. But the YouTube video is certainly a must. And just keep what you're doing. America's exciting. It's just, absolutely incredible. So we've had a snapshot of the cheese, the yogurt, and everything you're all about this morning. It's been lovely chatting with you on this little interview that we're doing here and recording. And I would just say to everybody, you've got to check out the website. It's really, really interesting. So lovely chatting with you, and we should keep following you and catch up with you soon.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
You're more than welcome. Take care. Thank you.